presenting for the last time.
There are times I know it can be hard to get up and go. You can always count on those beside you. When you're far from home, it can be hard to go alone. Bring a friend. Oh, bring a friend. When you're on that road, you can share your heavy load. Every day can be a new adventure. When you're far from home, it can be scary to go alone. Bring a friend. Oh, bring a friend. Leave out of me question.
Welcome back, LUQties. Let me just turn down that EXPN music. Welcome to the final episode of the League of Ultimate Questing Battle Access 121 End. This is a long one, so strap in. This is, I believe, around an hour 40. So get a snack, get a drink, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think you're gonna need a couple of listens. I definitely felt about it differently in the moment, and after I had some time to think about it and really like sit with it, because it's the end. How's everyone doing tonight? Running a little late because I was busy doing a few things, but I am here now and excited to just give everyone another minute to filter in. I'm also just gonna double check, make sure I did everything correctly. Yeah. I couldn't not. You know, he's Max. He's been part of the cast for like at least half the show now. I look forward to whatever intro we make next, like having everyone. I always thought it would have been really funny. You know how in like the last seasons of a show, a sitcom especially, they introduce like a kid randomly? I think it would have been really funny to have Max come out with like a propeller beanie on a tricycle, just like that's way too small for him. That was always my vision, but next time. Oh, I am on the quiet side. I think I'm just talking a little quietly because of the gravity of the episode. I'm very reflective. Well, that said, it's a long one, so I'm not going to keep you. Thank you everyone for coming. Let's play it and then stick around because I'm happy to answer any questions or share my thoughts. Without further ado, the final episode of Season 2.
In darkness, I have faded. This flesh, a construct, a memory of the man I once was, a pale simulacrum, a comforting lie. I do not dream of the future, yet I wonder what keeps this flesh. What force might bind the spirit of intention to a world on the brink, a world beyond hope, a world without a future? slow in the dying. A ragged beast, clinging to its final moments with fervent intensity. Perhaps, as with the souls of mortals, the doom of oblivion is the unceasing, asymptotic approach of an end that will never come, a deathless eternity of naked consciousness. No. I suspect I endure out of blessed purpose. I dream, if such a thing exists, of a choice.
You stand upon the plateau of the mountains at the end of the world. The body of Adonai rots within, but you have a different task. I do not know what you will find in there, as he gestures down the mountain into the black forest below. All I found was pain and death.
We may find the same. I'm so sorry for your loss, my friend.
Don't be. Celebrate the man he was. The cartographer opens your hand and places inside of it a compass. But as you turn it, you see that the needle does not move.
I take it we're too close to north for it to move.
It never moved. I found my own way. I trust you will too.
I'll place it on the large necklace around my neck that has the hanging bells and what few baubles still remain.
As long as we stay together and don't find different paths, we should be fine.
Well, you know that my fucking head's clear, I might be able to actually do something about it. If there's one thing I'm good at, it's tracking and finding my way somewhere.
Yeah, remember it didn't help them much, though, when they went in and they had a god with them.
What do you think we'll find down there?
Pain and death, same thing we find everywhere.
Not to sound disrespectful or nothing, but we just killed that god. Ain't we a little better set than they were?
Maybe. Lost is lost, though.
Aye, fair.
In large part, it was the truth that killed that god. And that is probably what we will find in the Darkwood. The truth of things.
What do you mean?
I learned by looking into that god's mind, secrets that had been kept from it. And I saw the axis empty. The destiny that he felt was his was a lie all along. And it unmade him.
How tragic.
I suppose the best thing to do is take the traumas we've just waded through and focus on the task at hand. Tear the bandage off, as they say. See what darkness awaits us, and what secrets are yet to be revealed. And as always, fate's hand will guide us.
We're so close. We've almost done it.
We'll figure it out together.
Cartographer, thank you for trusting us. Thank you for bringing us this far and providing us what tools we might use to try to find our way further. I'm sorry if this didn't end up the way you wanted it to.
It ended exactly the way I anticipated, and exactly the way I feared.
What will you do now?
He looks back at the old church. I imagine there are still many disciples that are not aware of what has happened. I will do my best to teach them, guide them, show them the principles that were taught to me by my brother. Both of my brothers.
In the sanitarium.
He draws a still black bloody dagger with a skeptic's symbol on it. I will give them what peace they can find.
Good. It's better than what they've been suffering.
He bows, turns, and walks inside. And the doors close on the old church for the last time.
Can I admit something to a lot of you?
Now is the time.
I lost my taste for mountains a long time ago. I'd like to get much lower than we are right now. We should go.
Yes, the sad truth of it is we can't prepare for it, because we don't know what it is.
Somewhere down there's a tree that must be felled.
As you make your first tentative steps down the mountain, you all rely upon the skills and naturecraft of your friend Wusha. Give me a survival check.
You got it. Forest is my favored terrain.
Really?
One of them. I have several now.
This one's my favorite. No, this one's my favorite. No, this one's my favorite.
I like so many forests. 27.
Beautiful. As you make your way down, Wusha cracks jokes, makes lewd remarks, tells stories. A few laughs, some strangled, some genuine, are pulled from you. But as you make your way into the forest, you fear you will find no laughter there. The rich, dark loam of the black forest is damp and dense with rot. It gives beneath your feet as you trudge through the clinging topsoil. Despite the abundance and fertility, foliage is sparse and without color. Gray-brown kudzu of no clear species lazily climbs stunted black oaks. The close, shadowy vista punctuated with broken birch and leaning alder, like white fangs in a mouth of an aged predator, too weak to bite. No green, no growth, no life. Bugs, birds, and fauna are few and far between. What scattered specimens you glimpse through the bent light that steals through the canopies are twisted and malformed. Ancient things, in whom the gift of life has long since fallowed, with no hope that youth might spring anew in generations to come. Not undead. No. For undeath, one must first walk beyond the boundary of the ceaseless and agonized being, to be clawed back into the cruelty and chaos of life, unending. Instead, perpetuity without purpose, a life sentence without punctuation.
We've been in the dark woods many times now. Do you suppose this is the first?
These trees are older than any I've seen before. They grow hungry. Not wild, but eagerly. Things here have been still. Still for a long time. And if this ain't the first, it's damn near close.
I was serious, about leaving the League after this. I would really like it if all of you at least considered going with me.
The League. How absurd that that's how this started. Can you imagine a family gathered around their scrying stone to watch the five of us wander into these dead woods, the edge of reality? Like it's a show to partake, another story to be told.
It was a nice place, though. Nice place to belong. Nice place to call ours for a while. Sure, it, whipped us and cut us and stabbed us and burnt us and what have you, but at least we had somewhere to go back to every time. We had reason and purpose, and we had. It's hard to think about losing that, especially so soon after I found it.
And what about you, Gaspar? What's next for Gaspar Aleph Not?
I wouldn't mind traveling with you. Sounds like fun. Just seems childish to think about what comes after this, though. When our very existence is on the line. But there's nothing wrong with being childish.
That hope is a valuable weapon.
I think that if we do make it out of this, I wish I could make amends for the crimes that I have committed.
As you wander through the broken, overgrown cemetery of this erstwhile monument to life, you are overcome with weariness. Apathy creeps in at the edges of your spirit, as certainly as the certainty of your fate calcifies. You will never leave this forest, and if you do, no hope awaits you.
Did anybody else feel that?
I felt it for a long time, but it seems more real now.
It's a bit odd. Usually I like to spit in the face of those feelings. Rebel. Seems somewhat easy to accept now.
I almost might prefer it. What am I going to do when we're done with this? All my life I've been doing things that everyone else told me I should do. There's nobody to lift. No one to tell me what to do once we've done this for the gods.
There's yourself.
Nobody expects anything from me anymore. I look over at Iowa's, least of all me.
Well, one cannot make you choose your own fate, but I hope you do. You've removed the shackles of the fate that was written into your skin. Now your path is unmapped.
When Iava says that, Wusha is going to reach back to his little memento of Hal and pull it free from his hair and hand it back to him. This is yours. I don't need to have it any longer. Maybe it's a part of a map. Maybe it's the first step out of here for you. Maybe it's a guide to what you should do next.
It's weird to think about. This is all that's left of these. The rest of it all got crushed when they remade me. The only bit of my fate still inscribed on my flesh. And it's not even part of me anymore.
I know I've been proper jovial and light-hearted since I've been back, well, for a while. But I don't think the feeling of this place ever left me. I spent more time lost in the dark of these woods than I thought, through one firm or another. And I've been dragging it with me since then, accidentally sowing it and planting it everywhere I step. Do I even know a life without this feeling? Have I even gotten to experience that? Or have I just been covering up this whole time?
I think I know what you mean, in some ways. It's infused in my home, my family, me. What is Nelly Isadora without the Darkwood?
Don't stop hoping for your happy ending, my dear daughter. That is an armor you wear that none can crush. And it is the light that will guide any of us that make it through this out of the woods.
Anybody else would have crumbled under the weight of this forest. We were the ones able to carry it. We were the ones who are now able to bring it to its finality.
Perhaps rest, fire, food, stories and song. Eat and make what merry can be found in so desolate a place. Sometimes, in the cold of the longest night, the fires of hope burn brightest.
Well, suppose there's always time for one more pot of stew. I don't suppose you have any of that stolen libation squirreled away within your belongings.
You think I would go into a suicide mission carrying extra dead weight? Of course. It's very necessary.
I don't suppose you still have that enchanted cup of revelry.
You know, I do. I expected to lose it back there. Hell, I was even willing to offer it, but for some reason, kept hold of it.
Well, if the Blackwood is part of us, and we're going to kill it, then perhaps we can celebrate the lives we had up to this point.
You walk a ways seeking a clearing, and that's when you find it, the heart tree. But it is not the embodiment of evil. It's simply a tree, long dead. Your fate lies further on. But you cannot see the edge of the forest. It is infinite and black, and getting blacker with every passing second.
I may be more of a seaman than a woodman, but I don't think I want to burn that. You want to set to making camp? I'll go around and find wood worth cooking.
Don't go by yourself, Usha. Take someone with you.
Alaphon, I think he could use the help.
think you're right, Yavos. How? You got good arms for carrying.
Oh, yeah. You and I walking off together into the darkwood. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh. Oh. Maybe you should leave your weapons here.
Just you.
Here in this place, as you wander into the dark, you do not feel the call of the darkwood. You do not feel its voice at the back of your head. You feel nothing. No command, no expectation, only silence.
Finding fallen twigs and branches on the ground, gathering up dried, dead leaves so we have something to start a fire, Wusha is going to hand one additional thing to Hal. Wusha offers you the long and golden tusk that he holds. I think you're going to need this.
For what?
The end. For later.
I'm not sure I follow, Woosh.
Way I see it, in one form or another, you four can go. I only exist and live because of this place. I'm one of its soldiers, one of its dead. When it goes, I go with it.
Well then. I reach towards you, but instead of taking the spear, I grip you by the forearm. I'd like to burn my other 4th level spell to cast Death Ward on Wusha. Where you go, I'll come and find you. I'm an angel of death, and war touches all planes. I can't guarantee I'll find you quickly, but maybe that's something I can do when this is all over. Find you and bring you back to the light.
Here's to hoping I haven't spent all my chances.
Well, death will last for 8 hours.
Arvos sits shoulder to shoulder with Penelope, chopping whatever few meager onions and tubers he had squirreled away in his bag.
I found a carrot.
Oh, thank the gods. This is going to be a very sad stew. You know what? Why don't you make this one? I'll watch.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. I like yours better.
I can tell when you're lying, you know. Magic eyes. But, I appreciate that. I'll try my best.
I know.
Why don't you roll me whatever you think is appropriate?
Fuck me.
Use my dice.
Ooh.
I mean, it would be cooking utensils, which I'm not proficient in. Do you think you can cook with the force of charisma?
Not unless...
Dewey with your
Tell
eyes
that to
first.
Salt Bay.
Oh, I'll do 2 separate rolls. How it looks and how it tastes. Okay, how it tastes. How it looks. It looks like a 16, but it tastes like a 4.
While Penelope's preparing the stew, I'm trying not to watch her too closely so she doesn't get nervous. Move over and sit next to Gaspar for a moment. Does your bag feel lighter now that that dagger's gone?
Everything feels lighter. Thank you, Ayavas.
I never told you, but I'm furious that when you got your body back, you had hair.
Just kind of gets in the way.
I'll take your word for it.
But no, again, Ayavos, thank you. You did what you promised.
I don't think I could have finished anything else until I had.
We worked so hard to find answers.
We never really found the answers we wanted, did we?
I don't think anybody would have wanted this as an answer. But it feels good to know.
And it felt good to look for them.
It felt good to find everything else while we did so.
I have a lot of respect for the fact that you are willing to leave your home. I just don't know if I'll be brave enough to do the same thing.
Ayavos, where is home?
It's near. If you'll pardon me, she's using cayenne when I told her to use paprika.
What the hell? When did grasses and stalks get so hard to chew? After a few moments, Nellie approaches Gaspar, holding a large wooden spoon with some soup in it. Can you tell what this needs?
I shoot a look of concern to Ayavos. Is this safe?
While Penny's bringing you the spoon,
Yeah.
I'm doing a little tinkering to try to fix it.
I see how much tinker is going on. I'm scared.
Wink.
I'll take the sacrifice. Yes, let me try that.
You don't take any damage because it's a soup.
Okay, cool.
She stares up at you expectantly.
Nelly, this needs a lot of work. It is somehow milky and spicy at the same time. I was wondering why grass was tough to chew when you said it, but now I understand. It's become stone.
And the addition of teeth does not make it easier to chew as well.
But Nelly, it tastes like love. I think it just needs to cook a little longer.
I'll try that then. It's funny, you can unlock the secrets of the universe, and something so simple can still pose such a problem.
You know, since I've gotten my body back, having an actual tongue to taste and a stomach to get warm, out of the few things, I'm very happy that this was one of them.
I rolled a 27 to fix the soup.
Thank you, Ratatouille.
It is acceptable. The boys return, and you sit down to a meal around what meager fire you can grow from the weak, wet logs that you've collected. Iavos' work has improved the stew somewhat, but you all laugh it off, knowing that Nellie did her best.
As the night lingers on, and Iavos watches his dear beloved allies start to drift off, the weight of the forest and the long trail behind them, making them weary, he sings them to sleep, an old familiar lullaby.
The Father's strength will till the soil, exchanging harvest for his toil. The mother's care will ease the woe, with arms to hold and hands to sew. The son will shoulder any load and learn the lessons of the road. The daughter's strength was born of tears, her wisdom far beyond her years. And child the third they couldn't save, they speak the secrets of the grave, to cherish life and heal with love. The family's strength will rise above, and though the pain begins at birth, they wring survival from the earth.
Hey, champ. How you holding up?
Dirk, what the hell are you doing here? How did you find me?
Keen intuition and a can-do attitude.
Really?
Nah, I paid a guy. Did you know you can just pay people to do stuff? What a world we live in. Gotta say, man, you don't look good. I'm guessing the things got you pretty bad, huh?
Did it occur to you that I was isolating myself for a reason?
Warren, did I ever tell you about Pinky Bunsen?
Lords deliver me.
He was my cat. I killed him.
Lords, Dirk!
Not like that. See, I wasn't always the bright, shining beacon of wit and charisma that you see before you.
It was hard to believe you got dumber.
See, I love me some Choco Flumps. I mean, I was obsessed. It was the only cereal that flavored your milk with fudgy flatulence.
You fed your cat sugary cereal, and he died.
Wow, you're good.
I was an investigative journalist.
But that's not the point.
He disappeared one day. You couldn't figure out where. You checked his damp drawer, his custom-built cat chateau, which was really just a box you decorated like a bad macaroni portrait. You even checked the places that he used to run to get away from you because of your extra special version of love. See, smothering neglect of his needs was often too much for him to bear.
Fuck.
You didn't find him in the end. Your maid or your father noticed the smell of the rotting corpse, and you were horribly punished for your failure. The moral of the story, at least, as far as you're capable of understanding it, is that sometimes when someone is in pain, they run away because they don't want to be a burden. And you're here to give me a misguided pep talk about how my life is still worth living, and I have people who are there for me, and love me. But in reality, when an animal, especially a social one, realizes that its time is short, it seeks the safety of solitude. You see, Dirk, for some of us, there is little comfort in companionship. Joy, sure. Fun and fascination and morbid curiosity, but not comfort. And when life has become pain, or worse, emptiness, one might... I realized I didn't have the energy to be cheerful or helpful or clever or good for anyone anymore. Least of all myself. What? No patented Dirk brand shift of tone? No insightful get-over-it speech? You're not going to say anything. Look, I don't know if I can take you storming off with hurt feelings.
Nope.
What then?
Nothing. You don't owe me anything, and I'm not here to make this harder. I'm just here.
But why?
Because my cat was there when I was lonely. And no matter how much I needed him to understand me and give me what I wanted, most of the time it was just enough that he was around.
Do you wanna watch the scry?
Yeah? I was gonna say goodbye, give you the space you needed and kind of let you do this your way.
You know I've got time enough to rot. I'd hate to miss the thrilling conclusion.
That sounds great. I'm gonna run out for some snacks. You want me to get you anything?
I'm okay. Actually, I've never had a butter snooch delight. Why not try something new?
One king-size butter snooch coming right up. Hey, Warren?
Yes, Dirk?
You're gonna be here when I get back, right?
Hey, all you cuties, Law here. Welcome to the final episode of Season 2 of the League of Ultimate Questing, Battle Axis. I'm not going to make some silly puns. I'm not going to ask you to join the Patreon or share with your friends, even though technically saying that kind of counts as that. I'm going to thank all of our patrons, every single one of them, for all the help they've ever given us and every dollar of support they've sent our way. It makes a world of difference. I'm just here to say, from the bottom of our hearts, that we hope you've loved Season 2 as much as all of us. And I want to say congratulations to Zach for finishing an entire season of the show. A lot of stuff has happened since we started this season, and it's a huge accomplishment for anyone. The world has been flavorful, the lore writing has been beautiful, the tone has been happy and sad and tragic and lovely. So please give a round of applause, wherever you are, to the Dungeon Boy, our Dungeon Boy, and of course the incredible cast of Season 2 for everything they've brought to the table, all the creativity, ingenuity, and unique storytelling. And of course, the thank yous that can't be thanked enough. Thank you to Hediger the Editor for editing for us for about 4 years now and doing an incredible job. And of course, Bree Golden from Golden Stylus for the fantastic maps. And while I hope that your listening to Season 2 has been moving, I hope even more that your second listen is even better. That's enough out of me. Let's get you back to the battle axis.
Greetings, friend chums and purchasing patrons. It's me, your forever boy and for never foe, Divinathan. Do you, humble wanderer in time, fear the end of things? Do you pout and petrify at the thought of closing a book? Does the completion of a meal give you sad bads and give-em-ups? Does a published program completing a circle around the narrative sun fill your heart with ache and swears? Well, fear not, fierce fandoms and thing lovers, for now there is the Skryko Chronopause Chamber, a state-of-the-art seal-em-up that will trap you and a family of one in a kind of comfortable vibrating stasis, where time's forward momentum freezes like wintered lake ducks. Set a timer anywhere from 28 minutes to forever, and when your timer's up, you thaw out, back to the warm bathtub of normality, having minimal damage to your soul and bones. Now you've jumped forward in time, and there are new books to read, new fancy foods to enjoy, and more stories backlogged like a stopped-up lumberjack. It's the Skryko Chronopause Chamber. Skip the deaths of your loved ones to avoid personal woe. Leap to tomorrow year to see if any progress has been made, like the kind that matters. Or maybe even ride out countless forms of oblivion, still and quiet as a baby's eureka. Get your Chronopause Chamber right away. Today's tomorrow will soon be tomorrow's not yet. Skryko, we see the end of things.
Pale sunlight seeps in through the cracks on the horizon. As the woods thin, feeble hope returns. Before you lies a pair of low hills, whose contours may well have been carven in strange eons from mountains whose names have been long forgotten. Huddled against the nearest hill, to fight the bitter winds, are 2 weary fields, enclosed by a fence of gray, weather-beaten wood. The barren farmland is a tangle of dead crops, long since fallow. Petrified crow sign and empty burrows tell a tale of a life before, but no longer. But it is the other hill that draws your eye, where once stood an ancient willow, weeping o'er the grave of a lost child, erupts an infinite colorless tower, whose root is thrust deep into the earth, windowless and without entrance.
Oh, jeez.
Atop the nearest hill, surrounded by a small stone wall, is a 1-bedroom farmhouse, leaning under the weight of unseen burdens. Its slender chimney has collapsed, never again to carry the smell of smoke or the hearth fire across the fields. The barn behind the home is the only source of sound besides the wind, the wheezing creak and clatter of rusted hinge and hanging tool. Beyond the doors, a shattered wagon lies defeated beside an old still and the skeletal remains of a single cow. Home, barn, fence, and wall once lovingly patched and tended with what materials might be scavenged or clawed from the earth, have now succumbed to the ravages of time. As you approach the home, you see a small garden, herbs, and a few paltry vegetables, not rotten or pest-eaten, but desiccated by the strange feverish heat that looms between biting winds. You stand before the only splash of color to be found in this desolate place, the warm brandy red of the front door. To one side, an iron hook, where once a dinner bell called to a family without name. The door itself, aged to be sure, bears the dignity and strength of a relic exhumed from an ageless ruin.
Lavos falls to his knees, not believing the sight in front of him. Hands shaking, eyes darting in every direction. No. No. Not this. It can't be here. They don't deserve it. We don't deserve it. This isn't it. This can't be it. Don't believe what you see. This isn't true. Nothing changes here. Everything's near death, but never dead. It should be a tree. Their tree! Give it back!
Small arms find your waist. It's okay, Papa. It's okay.
That's not my name here.
What is your name here?
It's dead, too. I'm sorry, my dear. I didn't mean it like that.
It's okay, Papa. Just tell me what's going on.
After all these years, hundreds of years, I won't even get to see them again. I had planned from the moment you were born to find a way to say goodbye. They'd be so proud of me. They would love you like I love you. But this sickens me. All beauty of this place is lost. You'll never see it as I saw it.
We can still fix it, Papa. Just like we did on Eudaimonia.
No one could ever fix it. That was part of its beauty. But this, staring at the base of the axis, this cruel pillar, it took it all.
Wusha is going to walk in front of Iavos and offer a hand to help him up from his knees. We might not be able to fix it, but we can make it right. Anyway, there's worse things than being dead.
If it were me, I would agree. I'll let Wusha help me to my feet and stagger forward away from the group a bit to try to open the door.
The mechanism turns, and the door swings wide. The home is all but a single room. The smoke-stained mud brick walls are unadorned, save for a few small hooks where cloaks and hats hang in tatters. The kitchen is nestled in a windowed corner beside a fireplace and stove, now so very cold, home to a rotten black cauldron, pots and pans rusted beyond use. Bundles of dry herbs pepper the floor, their desiccated twigs point down in accusation from above the cracked wooden counter, where once flour and scraps clung to every surface, now only dust remains. The dining room table spills out into the sitting area, set with 6 chairs, each of a different wood and make. The pale, spotted tablecloth, once blue, has been wrung gray by centuries of wash. Against the far wall, a small pair of hay beds, separated by a chest of drawers, and a bookshelf with a meager menagerie of tomes, scrolls, all scrap now. Dust. The only interior door is closed, a request for privacy that reaches beyond the lock it bears. But there is another door. Yes, a door you do not recall. The door to the cellar.
I looked back. Emotion flooded and washed from my face, bewildered, to my friends and allies. We don't have a cellar.
Albus, I'm so sorry. We got you back to the acre, but we did not get you back home.
There's no peace in that.
Gasper, you seem to be taking this well in stride. It's on your mind.
Panicking won't do us good. This is a task. It requires work. We have to be working.
I'll lean my shoulder and haul whatever you need.
I wish there was more time for you to grieve for your loss. But whatever's down there must be dealt with. We should get into formation. We need to be prepared for anything.
Move to the cellar.
As you descend, the darkness takes you. Above, the damp earth writhes with pale roots, the veins and arteries of a tower beyond measure. Sallow, supple, weeping black sap, as they crawl ever downward. Each step festers the air. Rot and decay, the sweet scent of late autumn leaves. But there is a warmth here. Yes, the sickly heat of compost, febrile and immense. The stone of the stair gives way to a tomb of desiccated earth, whose cracks and fissures seem to be rent in the fabric of the real. And there, before you, at the center of all things, a withered body, oh so familiar. Soft, frail muscle, and ashen flesh hangs loose from ancient bones. The filth of years clings to his naked form, as black sap drips down from the roots of the axis, which erupts from his belly.
Yavos? Who's that? He kind of looks like you.
Are you the one responsible for this? What have you done to my home?
In your tongue, I am Anthropos, Vokaitos, Sum Null. In the beginning, there was nothing, and in that bliss of oblivion, I was one and all. Until from my belly sprang chaos. I was unraveled, every fiber of the void transformed into unknowable impossibility, until from the infinite emerged order, who wove chaos into time and structure. But when the last strand was woven, order began to decay. In the fullness of time, the whole of creation returned to me, and in the beginning there was nothing. Thus went the cycle. Innumerable iterations, countless births and deaths. So it was meant to be. But with time and iteration, the denizens grew clever. Some occult few learned the secrets of the greater real, and with profaned arts they preserved their knowledge and practices through the iterations. Though their progress was slow and sloppy, they had time immeasurable, and in time all things are possible. They began to resent me, fear me, and plotted to end me. With foul magics and dark ritual, they sought to make flesh the abstract of entropy, and by my blood cast me out of the real. They were the first casualties of their blasphemous presumption, for I am the infinite and the absent, the space between, the yawning black of the universe and the trend toward chaos. To end the cycle is to end all things. Such is the hubris of mortals. The real unraveled, unmaking the expanse of creation, I was cast out, my brother and sister, a kaleidoscopic umbilicus of all that might be, could be, and never will be again. Adrift, without time and without purpose, entombed, helpless in the flesh, I grew content, surrendered to my fate. I could not imagine the horror to come. We cleft through a breach in the skin of a new infinity. In that instant I dreamed of a future. I wished to be returned to the cycle, freed from the flesh. I reached out into the abstract, searching, desperate for my counterpart in this place. But there was none. It did not begin all at once. A subtle thing. Imagine, if you will, a whole integer between 0 and 1, a number that could not possibly exist. Now comprehend a system that hinges on 1 following 0. What would happen to that system should this obscene number propagate? I was a virus in the fabric of the greater real, an impossible factor in an equation of the cosmos. This perhaps could have been survived, and yet I was not alone. My siblings are a part of me, and I them, and they were at home in this universe, tainted expressions doing what they must. It began with chaos and order. With every swing of the pendulum, some small portion of the energy was lost and flowed into me. Every exchange, every rounding of numbers, some small portion disappeared. Surely the gods would see. Surely they would sense my presence and end me as I should have been ended so long ago. But the numbers in the system cannot see a number that does not exist. At least, not until it's too late. To be witnessed by any abstract was to taint them irrevocably. It was those closest in nature to oblivion, to the dark, that were infected first. The demons of chaos, the undead, the creatures of the shadow. Once the process began, it could not be stopped. I comforted myself in the certainty that abstracts could not be destroyed, that so long as there were mortals to dream of it, reality would persist, until the first soul was consumed. My siblings, my precious brother and sister, they knew not what they had done. The root of the tree does not choose what it collects any more than the trunk chooses to grow. Matter became manifest, the first floor of the tower, but not the last. My dear sister, she always loved the souls of mortals, always made spaces for them in the grand design, even after their demise. But she could never understand the difference between heaven and hell. She could not know that my restless eternity would poison their souls, that my helpless insomnia would be the theme of their new heaven. The tower grew as we consumed, but the end did not come. As reality collapsed around us, we once again were set adrift, the tower a splinter, waiting to infect anew. I do not know how many realities have been consumed. I do not know how many souls reside in the tower. But I do know what will happen to this place. The astrum, it is always first to die, and with it the abstracts. The gods die first, you see. Some few will live on in the souls of mortals, but in the end, they too will be consumed, fated for the tower. Then the aether, in fits and starts, flowing from the outer reaches of the materium. Then the matter, but so slowly, so very slowly, slowly enough that the remains of the first worlds to fall can be found suspended in protracted digestion. All that I touch will be consumed. You stand upon my accretion disk.
What?
And I fear your fate may be no different, unless you succeed where so many others have failed.
Okay.
I thought I was ready for anything. I was not ready for this.
I'm going to kneel down by the body and take it by the hand, looking it in its dead eyes. The machinations to end all the cycles. It happened here. Would you have it remain still to wither and die? Or would you have the cycle start anew?
I do not have that power, or that choice. I know of only two choices, but then I was never so creative as the lowliest mortal. You must understand that when I chose you, I thought I was saving you. So cruel a home, so painful a life. I thought for a moment that I, the least of the children, could give you something good, something blessed. I never imagined that this is how it would end. You are my scion, and I wished only for your happiness. One thing, if nothing else, that I had done right.
Oh my God. You were never the lesser sibling. And while you may have taken some homes from me, you also gave me a new one. I don't know if I should curse you or thank you.
I am cursed enough, and I do not require your thanks. I sought something in you that I was denied. A home, peace, however long I could offer it.
And a choice.
Yes, choice. Oh, wonderful choice.
Iarvos, who is this? Is this child the third? Is this...
That is a simplified way of visualizing what was shown to me. But this is something far greater than that.
He looks so much like you in so many small ways.
Perhaps I was made in his image, in a way.
But does he look like what we came for?
Not him, but this. Brushing my finger against the base of the roots of the tower. This is where it spreads from. This is the pin that holds the destruction in place and lets it grow.
Wait, I'm confused. Why? If this is the origin of the battle axis, why here? Why in your home?
Because after all these years, I always thought the Withering Acre was my dream, but it was his.
Yes, you are my dream. Yes, the Darkwood. The universe must make sense. Every iteration has to be trackable. And the Darkwood is the manifestation. It is simply an embodiment of the sickness. It is not willful. It is an accident. I am so sorry. Oh, so sorry. I meant to give you a better answer, but that is all I have. It's all you will ever have. Everyone seeks to make sense of what they see. Oh, the tragic creatures of death beyond the walls, beyond the gates. They believed that I was some kind of true god. Oh, and the poor creatures of the old church, I watched as they accelerated the process of the death of all things, believing that somehow they could overcome me through consumption. Foolish. I know, but they don't know any better. What is choice, then, after all, without all the information? And none could have it all except me, a creature without choice.
So even chaos wants to make sense. So, what were these choices you spoke of, and why can't we just make our own?
You, of course, can do whatever you want. I am helpless to stop you. But I have given you a gift. He looks at the plowshare, at each of your weapons. You see, I have done some work of my own to spread ideas. Death and the void. I have impregnated this place with it. Through you, my son, too presumptuous. My scion, you have been my emissary, an embodiment of me, and where you exist, I must be capable of death. You are mortal, and I am tied to you, therefore I am mortal. Yes, so, with my power, you can kill me. Yes, you can kill me, and all who I have touched. And it will sunder so much of your world, and for that I am so sorry. But I will end, and it will end, and the cycles will stop, and we can be free in nothingness. Forever. Oh, yes, forever. Or you can leave. I cannot stop you from leaving, forgetting me here, and perhaps in time, endless eons, this world will die too, and I can try again.
Wait. What do you mean by everything you touch? Are we going to be chasing down Darkwood seeds forever?
Oh, no need, my poor child. With my end comes yours, and that of all I have touched.
Ooh. Are you fucking kidding me? So, either many things die quickly, or all things die slowly.
Yes, and then so much more after that. If only it were just so simple as this world to die. Oh, but so many more. So many.
Does that include eudaimonia? Does it include my family? Does it include us?
Oh, I'm so sorry. I never meant for this. It was them. The mortals, they stole my, options. They took everything from me. It was the mortals. They stole my choice. What little choice is left to a being of abstract, they took it from me, and now I lie here, helpless. I did not mean for this.
We cannot end the cycle. That would lead to the end of all things.
So wait, let me get this straight. If we leave you alone, the cycles will slowly break down. But if we kill you, everything that you have touched, everything, turns to nothing, which is the natural cycle. So after that nothing, there will be something, chaos. No?
No. With my death comes end. This universe is not built to contain me. If I die, they die, and you die, and all ends in peace. But no, this is not a universe for me, and never will be. This is a moment of choice. Each of your characters has agency in this. I as the creator of this season, have no choice here. It's all up to you. And if one of you decides something that the other doesn't agree with, it'll be between you.
Wusha furrows his eyebrows, nods his head.
That look in your eyes is so strange, Wusha. Are you okay?
Every time I've been around a problem, I've been able to give something up. Part of me. Something important to solve it. And for the first time, I ain't got the solution to this. Nothing left in me can make this right. Walking over to where the body is, Wusha is going to start climbing up into the roots. I'm doing the only thing I have left to do. I'm, for once, making myself part of the solution and not the problem.
What solution? It's lose-lose. I say we go and let it play out on its own. We can enjoy the rest of existence together.
Kick it down the line. Let someone else worry about it later.
Haven't we taken enough responsibility for all of this?
I haven't even started. I didn't know until recently. I am part of the thing speeding up the process of all things dying and falling apart.
Wusha, we all are. The Darkwood used you wherever water would go. Used me for whatever was behind locked doors. Used Penny for wherever happiness could be found. Hal for wherever wars would be fought. And I was into every home. Every single one of us carries the Darkwood.
So you agree with me? We need to be stopped.
Now here's where I begin to question. Walk towards you, skeptic's dagger in hand, copper piece in the other. I don't believe him. Fuck it, we flip the coin.
Two choices, heads and tails. Is that really your solution, Gaspar? Look, Wusha, if Paraftara were here, she would agree with you. She wouldn't have a choice. But I do. I want to go steal tater flakes and get up to other kinds of mischief. I want to live my life. I want you to live your life.
I did. More than I deserved.
Wusha, you deserve so much more than this sad old man in a cellar.
It's touching that you think and feel that way, but I don't agree.
So the problem that we're having is that you're here and you're not supposed to be.
Yes, and that I have woven into so much of your world.
And your presence is what's causing the Darkwood.
Yes, the Darkwood is a side effect. Only the most meager of things. It is like a child looking at the cough and imagining it as the cold.
Right. But the Darkwood is a side effect of you being here.
Yes.
And if you weren't here, then the Darkwood would go with you?
Yes. And every other thing that it has touched.
That sounds like something somebody would say if they didn't want to get stabbed.
Oh, no, no, imagine for a moment, if you will, the horror of my existence. Please, kill me. I beg of you, I do not want to watch another opportunity slip through my fingers. I would die now and watch you all die with me if it means that I do not cause any more of this suffering. I can't do this again. I cannot do this again. I liked to imagine that the Singulars were such paltry creatures, but you are living in constant agony of choice, and I am helpless here. Oh no, not like this, not again, not again.
You said that mortals stole your choice?
Yes, a cult of the Deathless. They insisted that I was the cause of all suffering, and that with my death chaos and order could reign supreme, at war with each other but never trending to nothingness. They thought that killing me would kill death, and all it served to do was bring about something worse.
Our roads did not lead us here for an ultimatum, especially one of his design. I have an idea, and it involves us getting a little creative with our options.
Yes, please.
And if it does not work, I will kill him myself.
Yes.
Let's not be too hasty. Everything is still on the table. What if the universe had more babies or something? Those are like Astrum factories.
What I wish to do, to me, seems like it may... There's no happy ending here, but the story's much longer if we can write it ourselves. This poor soul made me, designed me in some image, some solution to all of his problems, robbed from my life, destined to wander through reality and dreams just to find this place again and make the choice for him, the one that he cannot. And I have one I would make, but I will not make it if my friends don't trust me.
I don't believe in him, but Iavos, I believe in you.
Then Gaspar, give me the mask.
Are you sure, Papa? Are you strong enough? I'm not sure you understand. A wish, it can't make something untrue true, or the opposite, and you can't wish for anything. It's only as strong as the will of the wisher.
And if it fails, then we're right back where we started.
Wusha will get down from the roots, looking heavier than he has previously. He'll stand next to Iavos and not put an arm around him, but lean on him a little bit. He said it before, and I'll say it till I'm done. What's good for you is good for the crew. I trust your choices.
I trust you too, Papa.
I hid the mask underneath your spare soup pot.
So I had it all along. I'm not envisioning a happy ending. I don't know if that's possible here, but these words feel good on my tongue. And after everything I've been through, that's all I have left. And if I'm not strong enough, then hopefully some good will come of it. Gaspar, I'm very glad that I could keep my promise to you. And I'm glad you're free. And Wusha, you are not how you were made. You are so much more. I thought there was power in family, but you've shown me that friendship is just as strong. And Hal, you've broken free of the prison of the lines in your skin, and I hope the fate that you earn is one that you find worthy of yourself. My daughter, I reach into my robes and I hand you a book. It's Opus. He's yours now, regardless of what happens. And however many forms you take, you'll always be a goddess to me.
No matter what happens, all of you know how much I love you, right?
It's one of the few truths I still believe in.
From here to any shore, Nelly.
In a place like this, it's the only true light.
Taking the mask of the Adrohai out of my bag, I'm going to lay my hand on the base of the battle axis, the origin of the Darkwood, and the prison of this poor soul. I place the mask on my face. I wish for you to give back everything you've siphoned from this world so the cycle can heal anew.
As the wish leaves your lips, you are suffused with the psychic impressions of untold billions, as those whose lives hang in the balance watch from afar. The blessings of the gods, those beings whose souls are the very fundament of the universe, lend their strength that your words might ring true. The abstracts from beyond the confines of their infinity, beyond the space, time, and matter of this dying place, reach out with a vision of the home that was lost to the hubris of mortals. Energy beyond comprehension weaves through you. A tension begins to rise, building and building. A pressure beyond measure, too immense to bear. Cracks form as your physical body reaches its limit, your mind and spirit soon to follow. Through the cracks, gouts of radiant light and blackest shadow scorch and tear at the fabric of the real as the limit is reached and breached, until finally, blessedly, it ends in silence. In the beginning, there is nothing. What bliss! What rapture! The unity and peace of a rest without waking. But in that death of sleep, what dreams may come? In time, the pregnant silence of the void might burst into primordial chaos, the febrile heat of infinity spilling out to fill a volume without end. But oh, what wonder can be seen within that chaos! Shapes giving birth to color, to context and contrast, order, forms, and shapeless imagination until at last, life, the purpose without purpose, clumsily grasping for meaning and definition, raw, desperate intentions clashing and receding. What beauty, what pain, what wonderful, horrible beginnings and ends. I leave you to imagine a world reborn, destined perhaps for the same fate, perhaps something new, but never to be seen or known by those beyond it. But for now, in this blessed beginning, there is nothing. Dream, if you will, of a farm, neither withered nor abundant. A father sits upon his porch as the last red rays of sunlight form upon the horizon. His blonde hair falls across his eyes as he takes in the beauty of the life he has built. He looks down upon scarred palms, warriors' hands. Upon their backs, the inks of his people dance in sacred geometry, telling tales of heroism and hope. Kinder hands encircle them, rich, bright brown, the color of cinnamon. Scarred as well, the wounds and calluses of the huntress. Emerald eyes like temperate forests meet his with a smile and a beautiful question whose answer we can never know. A daughter, the spitting image of her mother, crawls into his lap, a book twice her size in tow. She reads strange words to a father who can never dream of understanding, as he smiles and nods his way through her explanations. She dreams of libraries, discoveries, of secrets and stories. Her every question, the first of many to come. A voice without words rings out in the joy of homecoming, as the sun returns from the seas, with tales on his lips, of lands afar and beasts below. His smile is the shore, waxing and waning, but never gone from his lips. His eyes are the skies, a storm on the horizon, and his heart is the ocean, vast and alive with wonder and abundance. His smile broadens as the tripwire snaps, sending a clatter of stones against his leathers. In a flash, a wooden dirk is at his throat, the smallest highwayman to ever have lived. A mop of blonde hair falls over the kind eyes of a boy whose tricks would never cause any true harm. The third child may be sickly at times, fevers and chills coming and going, coughs and sniffles ringing through the home. But there is strength, too, of will and of mind that grow with each passing year. A bell rings. The mother's quarry roasts upon the fire. Mouths water, and legs make their weary way to the dinner table as the last rays of the sun fade into twilight. But before the door can close on this dream of things that yet may come, a mother calls to the fields, a name which we all know well. From the rose, a child stands, his brow and hands blackened with field ash. As he heeds his mother's call, a snap of twigs draws the eye. He scans the border of the black forest, which he is forbidden to enter. And there, amid the underbrush, cast in fading light, a fallow deer watches with eyes of gold. A final impatient call pulls his attention, but when he looks back, the silent guardian is gone. But ever she watches as the child runs home in the gathering dark.
Let's all take a sec.
Ooh. This Stardew Valley RPG goes hard.
To say I didn't know what would come of that is an understatement.
Right?
Yeah.
I had several endings drawn up. That was the good ending.
That's a pretty, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, it's a pretty good ending.
And the rest will be on Patreon.
No, those need to be burned and deleted.
You never know. Our little gift to ourselves.
No, they need to be kept.
Time capsule?
Yeah, time capsuled and then auctioned off somewhere down in the future when they're extremely valuable.
In 400 years, when someone digs up Zach's backyard.
If you're in a farm.
When the LUQ is basically currency.
Yeah. Right. How many quint will it be worth?
So let's get real for a sec, because obviously the crux of this episode, and I dare say the narrative of most of the story, comes down to big choices.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Only because I felt like it was a guided hand did I try to make the final decision, but like, did it seem okay?
Honestly, I thought you were the only person who could make the final decision.
Mm-hmm.
Not that we weren't allowed to. The only way that this story, that this narrative all makes sense and all ties together is Ayavos having the last decision.
Yeah, and I don't think it would have been satisfying if it came to blows between characters,
Mm-hmm.
ultimately. And I think as long as everyone got to have their say,
Yeah.
it
Totally.
made sense to me.
As long as everyone was on like on the same page, you know, I never want to make. I felt like obviously I knew that it was going to end with something big and cosmic. Like that's
Yeah.
all that could happen. But the idea of telling it to give it back.
Just imagine it just ends just like, yeah, it doesn't work.
I was really worried his
Suck
wish
it,
wouldn't
nerds.
be something I could use.
Yeah.
But like the idea that like, you know, either kill the guy and it breaks the cycle and then everything kind of falls apart, or we let it ride and everything slowly decays. I thought a different option of being like, give it back and let it heal itself.
Yeah.
Like, because even then, if it was like a fairly long existence of everyone to get to
Yeah.
keep going and
Uneat the tater flakes. It's perfect.
and in a way that is definitely I'm
Power
very
word
satisfied
regurgitate.
and emotional by the ending. So in a way, it definitely kind of did. I like that. I just wanted to make sure that felt okay.
If it
I didn't
helps.
want to waste that on something dumb.
If it
Not at all.
helps, the interpretation I had of what you asked
Mhm.
was to let the cycle fix itself,
Yes.
which in my mind recreated their plane
Mhm,
on you.
mhm.
That was sort of my idea.
Nothing about the narrative didn't fit the wish.
Yeah.
But just so you all understand,
All future seasons of the LUQ will have a three-dimensional alignment axis where you have good, evil, law, chaos,
Entropy.
order, and entropy. All
so just so you understand, this didn't save the people who were touched by Entropos, but they are now in the potential of the universe that he is now a part of. They are a part of him, which means they are a part of that universe. So, you'll never know what happened to the universe of the Battle Axis, and we will never know what happens in the universe to come for the universe of Entropos. Just wanted to let you know.
Oh, for sure.
This is a dream.
What would have happened? My other idea. One idea was like make space in this cosmos for this god so that he's not a toxic force anymore.
You can't create an abstract.
Okay.
He doesn't belong here.
Okay.
There's nothing you could have done to fix
Could
that.
we have just banished him back to his original plane?
His original plane is inside of him. He's consumed it.
Okay.
So you couldn't have banished him to the original plane, but you could have cast him out into the void again.
Uh-huh.
But it would have taken all of you with him.
Not
Got
a
it.
cosmic prolapse.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like I had thought, I walked my head through all of the possible wishes you guys might have chosen,
Sure.
the most probable ones.
Yeah.
And in my mind, the only one that made any sense was the idea of recreating their plane anew in the void. And I had hoped that somebody would get it, and the fact that you just fucking it, I was like, I even told Bree, I was like, I'm not going to say a goddamn thing. They will have to make this decision for themselves, and if nobody remembers the wish, if nobody realizes that they have literally the glory of the entirety of the universe available. Also, I foreshadowed your destruction with Sarge saying, like, you can't just summon an unlimited amount of glory. There are limits to what you can do.
I knew we had the wish. My suggestion legit was just going to be like, well, he's not native to this plane. Can we just Roque 43 him and just bounce him? Like, so let's use the thing we did in chapter 3 on the final.
He is in fact native to the plane of error.
Okay.
The plane of error. So technically the demi-plane of error is the remnant of the plane that he brought with him.
Okay.
It is also the remnant of every plane he has consumed.
Sure.
It is the accretion disk.
Like an anchor that's collected sea filth.
Not surprisingly,
Which is Wushaw's
Hal
penis.
didn't pick up on that.
Yeah. That's fair.
Not fully.
Yeah, I'm also glad like it didn't come to like blows or anything. A little contest at the end is definitely very good. The only thing I think might have happened is if Gaspar wouldn't give me the mask, I might try to like hold person him or something.
Oh yeah.
I think if somebody had tried to kill him and somebody else trying to stop him and then like getting into like a weapon lock where somebody's like contesting over it, that would have been interesting. But
That's basically what happened.
We did that just verbally.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We didn't actually draw
I loved
weapons,
that.
but our ideals, what we find important, what we identify as ourselves, were locked together until a decision was made.
You
which was
all
cool.
played your characters perfectly.
Yeah, the good news is Doug is no longer dying.
Doug
Is that good news?
No, he's been returned to the potentiality of the universe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I share what I showed to Michael after I gave him the spear?
Sure.
It was, I plan on having you run me through with the spear, then I can call down lightning to burn everything.
I love it.
That's all right. I also had my own ending to the season in my pocket in case we got handed, which was going to be, I was expecting a sacrifice to have to get made. I was expecting one of us to have to die.
Oh, I knew full well y'all were going into this thinking this is going to be some season 1 shit where somebody could be like, make some noble sacrifice. I'm like, you fucking wish. It's all of you or none of you, suckers.
No, I love it.
I was expecting it to be Whoosh and Hal who go, no, we're the tanks. Everybody else gets to live and we'll hold the line.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end, at the last possible moment, I was going to stab him and banishing smite him back to the other,
Skinawi?
back to Skinawi or to Akritaria.
It's so funny. I asked Dana a few days ago, like a week ago, what did she think is going to happen?
Yeah.
What did she think the nature of the Axis was? And she's like, I have no idea.
Yeah. The only thing I knew about the Axis was that Tongaroa said that there was nothing there. He couldn't see anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so that conversation did get me thinking. I don't speculate to Zach.
Sure.
Because I don't want to impact the story.
Because
And he gets really mad when you predict things.
Yeah, but I said to Michael last night, it's like, every time that, like early on when we would enter the Axis, you always described it as like entering through its skin, the skin of the Axis. I'm like, I wonder if this is attached to a living thing.
Yeah, it's literally the umbilicus.
I said, watch, it's a giant space dick of an unfathomably large creature.
And you weren't wrong.
He did describe it as veiny and pulsing at one point.
It's funny you mentioned the Tongaroa thing. in reality, none of the plurals could really see the Axis unless they were infected. And Tangaroa wasn't. He was one who would live if the world was destroyed. Even though his plane was infected by it, he wasn't.
Oh, okay.
I was keeping close track of the people who expressed like despair in a global and absolute sense. I was writing down instances of you guys despairing versus when you had hope and just trying to keep track of it. Good thing I fucking finished before that. I was trying to keep track of it because if it came down to it, I was actually going to potentially base how effective your wish was on how hopeful you had been. But yeah, like just being touched by it isn't enough to be infected by it.
Got it.
It really takes despair. And so Tangaroa not seeing it, that's why. And I hope that was explained adequately when I mentioned that it's like an integer in a system that they can't see. They're like, this number doesn't make any sense. I don't know how to run it. I don't know how to use it. It's just not meaningless until it's too late. And then they're like, oh, it's a part of my system. Oops. Oh no.
Everyone's Play-Doh. Zero's got to die.
So I haven't written poems in a while. I wrote a handful before these episodes. So I haven't touched this since then. Would y'all like to hear the final prophecy of Nelly Isadora?
Yes.
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 The son became the father then, and harvested his yield. With secrets sown on silent nights, the scion broke the world.
Oh, you nailed it.
Nice.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
So, I know we usually do like favorite moments. Stop me if I'm jumping ahead.
No, go ahead.
And I assume we're going to do that
Yeah.
for today.
I think this outro is very freeform.
Okay, good. Good.
Yeah, I don't think we need to formalize it. Let's just talk about.
I was going to say, like, this is a
favorite
difficult
things.
one to try to do like favorite moments. Let's just keep
not say-
talking about the episode.
Let's not say favorite moments. Just say, what did you like?
Wait, let him cook. Let him cook.
Just bear with me.
He was prefacing.
Bear with. We've had a long and wild fucking road. Can we do favorite moments just period?
Oh my
absolutely.
Favorite moments
Oh my gosh.
we've experienced?
Sure.
Because, like, there are definitely things I can pull from this episode that I loved and I thoroughly enjoyed and I will not forget anytime fucking soon. But, like, here we are at the end. Some of us not where we expected to be. But I think now that we're here, we can see the whole of it. We can see how it all fit together. And that might throw some other moments we've experienced into a new context.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Yeah. I did my best to foreshadow everything I could. I'm excited to see y'all tell me about the stuff that suddenly makes sense now. But obviously, if you don't have anything, that's okay.
Y'all, including you, the listener,
Yes.
in the Discord, which you should absolutely be in to talk about this.
Yeah.
I don't want to go first, but I definitely have mine.
Yeah. Go for it.
Nope, Angelo has to steal it first.
I have to steal it first. Okay.
All right, Angelo.
Wait, let me pick his lock. Let me.
In all of season 2,
Yeah.
what's Max going to say
Well,
for
it's
you
easy.
to steal?
It had to be after he joined.
That's
right?
true.
So at least helps out a
Yeah.
little
I
bit.
was in a little more than half of season 2.
Yeah, that's correct. Like 3/5. Okay. His
This is less than half. Nope, it's
Favy.
It's more.
I'm bad at math. Continue.
is Favy Momo.
My favorite Momo.
Hmm.
You might be shocked.
I might be shocked. It was when Ayavos had to remake you, or like recollected your foam and stuff. No, damn
No.
it.
No.
Wait. So
This cannot be just people
yeah.
guessing each other's favorite moments.
I was about to say, who wants to guess Max's favorite moment? next?
Nobody. Max?
But was that your favorite moment throughout the?
I was just wondering. Like
Okay,
it was a good lore, like mixture of lore and character choice, and like
We got
That was
food
good.
getting cold out
I'm sorry,
there.
I'm
yeah, Max.
In retrospect, putting everything together, my favorite moment is probably Corpus.
Yeah.
I've come back to it a few times. It was one of it was the earliest experience I had with you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
But everything about that is suddenly put into a different wild fucking context, and I think is really interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's really fascinating.
Yeah.
Zachary Alan Marcus Golden.
Michael?
when we were in the labyrinth, were all of the insane lives in those books all of the lives he's devoured over all of the countless eons that he's been here?
Some of them. That is to say, that was some of the lives he's consumed.
Right.
That was just a branch.
That was how they got there.
Yep.
I just put that together.
No, it's good.
I wasn't here.
I'm very happy about that. Thank you.
I wasn't here for the Corpus episode.
That's true.
And I haven't listened to that one yet.
Go back. It's
So
fun.
yeah, I'll have to listen to that with my new knowledge.
My character voice stayed surprisingly consistent.
My favorite all-time episode for this season was Grief, which was the first episode after Loss, when I got to play a child Nellie as the daughter of Iavos, and just like the calm, almost cozy, just kind of melancholic aftermath of that like season midpoint.
It's important to note that when you killed Penny Dreadful and when you killed your mother, Hal, it didn't stop it. It just undid some of the damage and slowed the progress. It's like cutting out a tumor. You can remove the thing that's causing the most harm and you can pelt it with radiation to try and like kill off the things that are eating it. But in the end, you still have an increased risk. There's still a chance that it's going to come back. And that was, to me, Grief was, to me, a perfect example of what that kind of false afterglow of remission might look like. This thought that there's no certainty that it'll go away forever, but you can find some kind of peace afterwards.
Yeah, and I really loved about that episode, not just the content, but how just slow and deliberate the whole thing felt. Like we really got to sit in that episode.
Yeah, it took a lot of time.
And I got to have a baby.
That is when that happened.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to pick a specific moment from the season, but I will say I think my favorite takeaway is getting to play a character like Iavos and having a DM who will give you that agency, and rather than trying to tweak it, like play into it very respectfully and letting you really go nuts with the concept and really getting to do it. Because I mean, I walk away from Iavos just loving him. Like it felt so good to play him every time. I never have any like regrets about the things that happened to him or what changed.
He's an easy character to love.
You gave me the best fucking concept for this world. It was already like he fits so well. It just nestled in, and I was like, "Well, that's perfect. That's perfect."
Yeah, I was gonna say, can I ask? You had Iavos' character concept before you were even talking to anyone else about season 2.
Entropos came first.
Okay.
Entropos came first. The nature of the Axis was established like a month before I got Iavos.
Okay,
I was going to say,
because
Iavos was so seamlessly interwoven with the entire story of Campaign 2, I was going to ask how much of the character that he gave you influenced the world building of this season.
I mean, it definitely influenced it,
because you
sure.
didn't get, I mean, you hadn't even locked down the season 2 cast yet. I think you had told us there would be a season 2. And Law had already locked his character in, and you were like, none of the rest of you are allowed to lock your characters in, but he's given me his already, and it's perfect, and he's not allowed to change it anymore.
Yeah.
I think, what I do appreciate is how weirdly natural, scripted, obviously, I roll, the everything kind of fell into place, right? With your main campaign idea of Entropos, and then your keystone character being Iavos, who then just kind of perfectly fit that, gave it a house for it, and then all of Iavos is like family. It was really weird. You were saying like how each family member was kind of represented by a person on the other, like on the team, and then it just kind of also fits so well that like Penelope as a character then ties all the way back to Entropos, like as a good starting seed. So it was just a very well-built tree that all kind of accidentally fell into place.
Yeah, all I got to say is...
I'm not sure how much it was completely accidental.
Not accident, but yeah.
Sincerely, thank you all so much for when at the start of the session 0, Zach said, I'd like someone to play this thing called a plural that you let me call dibs. Because that has been a wild ride, and I've never played so many facets of the same character. And it's just been a really unique experience that I've really enjoyed.
You enjoyed it so much
That
you
did look
rejected
really
it.
fun.
Yeah.
Coming back with a new version of the same character.
And can I give a special extra shout out for something that really made today? And that was dramatically timed rain.
Oh my
I
god.
was gonna say, while we were building up to like the final decision and the guy describing like what his choices were, like the rain just fucking went so hard.
The moment I said the pressure building, the rain immediately got stronger. I'm like, this is so I'm gonna try my best not to clean up the background audio in this one and maybe like see if I can give it a boost.
Yeah,
Fuck
the
yeah.
fucking heavens.
recorded
Just like
outside.
fix the first half, but don't touch the second half.
Exactly.
The fucking heavens opened and just
It ended jet practice.
yeah, it grounded all the planes.
Yeah, I could talk about this episode for another episode's worth of content, just because it's the wrap of the story. I know Zach really likes to hear the things that were like a big shock and surprise to us, because it's impossible not to try to make some kinds of like predictions while playing. I loved the one that hit me and really like helped push me into the scene of like, oh god, it's the acre, was the willow tree being replaced with the base of the axis. That one got me good, and I liked it a lot.
To me, it meant a lot that Entropos is child the third, because he is literally the third child of the siblings.
Well, that's why he's never really there. It was just like a presence, and he's kind of creating the whole thing.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that in his original home plane, there is some debate over whether Entropos came first or Chaos came first, and the idea is that Chaos really was the firstborn, and then Order, and then from Order came Entropy, and that all things faded to nothing. And that idea that he is the third, but also he is the only god of the three who had no influence on the world. He could not affect anything. He was functionally dead to his people. And so as things decayed, he grew more powerful but helpless. The idea of being a dead third child made perfect sense to me.
Totally. And the thing about the child of the third is like you never learn, like, was it the eldest child or was it the youngest child? Like,
No.
Not relevant.
I fucking loved the opportunity to have each of you mimic one of the family members. I hope everybody got that, but I was literally trying to.
In case anyone didn't get it, I'm the girl.
You were the deer
You
at
were
the
the
end.
mother, the daughter, and the deer.
Oh, nice.
You were all three because you have so many
Oh,
iterations.
I meant in the Withering Acre family.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were all three. You were the mother, the daughter, and the deer. You were the guardian. You were literally the plurality, because that's why you look so much like the daughter. The daughter looks so much like you.
I was the boy that came back from sea, and also, little known fact, the corn.
But I especially liked that, the idea that the mother and the daughter are two aspects of who Penny was. This embodiment of her, but then the idea that the deer who watches
Right. I like that you brought back all three eye colors. And yeah, just like I got chills during the wish scene, and I got chills during the epilogue, and it had big, like, our particular ending had big Illusion of Gaia vibes.
I never played it.
Yeah, that was like an Enix RPG back in the SNES era. I adore it. Not many people have played it.
For me, it was rather valuable to have that scene feel like it ends with all of the family going inside, and then that last name being called.
You think that's all of them? Wait.
Just this little boy covered in ash, and I'm just like, yes.
What I also really appreciate, this campaign has an end.
Yeah.
Like, it's not what'll happen to them 20 years later? It's like, no, the story is done.
There's a strong sense of metaphor here, and I'm going to leave that to the interpretation of the audience, because the artistic intent is meaningless. My intent as the writer is irrelevant, and I hope you can see some of what I intended to put in there. There's a lot of layers, and there's a lot of symbolism, and it's not all perfect.
Whoa, Doug's not dead. Intention can't die.
I was going to say,
matters.
I majored in English. Trust me, people will be dissecting your intent as the author for...
Don't bother. Your intention and your views are more important.
And one of the worst things you can have is a urine tent.
Thank you all so much for listening. I'm going to go around the table and give everybody their final credits in Season 2 Battle Axis.
My name is Angelo Kaluag. I played Gaspar Elif Not, a phantom rogue who just wanted to be whole again.
My name is Max Hobbs. You can find me at Dungeon Master Max fucking everywhere, and I don't know, some other places. I played Woosha Brinefather, the Risen Tide, who looked for a place to belong constantly and finally found it, whether dead or alive.
My name is Michael Loving. I played Halifon Orison Jr., and I played Harathax in Season 1. You can find me on most social media platforms as Captain Mel of some iteration. Discord would be a good place to start. But yeah, this is it for me.
Yeah. Michael Loving will not be returning as a consistent cast member in season 3, though I do fully intend to have you return as a guest whenever possible.
Yeah.
You better.
So this is for me for not quite the last time, but the last time for a while, me wishing you luck.
I am Dana Ebert. I played Penny Farthing, Pentecost, and Nellie Isadora, as well as a few more minor variations of this character. She is the embodiment of the concept of innocence lost. And I just had a very wonderful time. You can find me places. Most notably, we have our grand opening date set for TPK Brewing for October 28th, the year 2023. And I couldn't be more excited.
That should be only a week or so after this.
Just about.
Oh yeah, this episode comes out on my birthday.
Hey.
Happy birthday to me.
Happy birthday, future Max.
My name is Law. I'm the creative director of Slapdash. I'll be back in season 3 as a player and GM. And in this season, I played Iavos Isadora, the boy who sought answers in dreams.
And I am Zachary Golden. I was your dungeon boy.
Now you're our golden boy.
It was a long time coming, and it meant a lot to me to tell you this story and to have it finish so well.
Let's get a round of applause for Zach's.
Maybe take our elbows off the table while we're
You were all amazing. Every single one of you was fantastic. You played your characters beautifully. You made this world come alive, and you gave me inspiration and excitement every single time I found it failing. Every time I found myself falling to the dark wood, the depression, the apathy, the exhaustion, the burnout. And each one of you at one point or another, and some of you far more than others, gave me the gift of reinvigoration, of hope and excitement and creativity. And I can't thank you enough. Do you, the listeners, believe me when I say I wouldn't do this without you? You helped me pay for my wedding, which I never thought would happen. You helped me pay my bills, and you helped me pay my cast, and you helped me do everything that I've done. And without you, it wouldn't be worth it. So thank you for listening to Season 2 of the League of Ultimate Questing, Battle Axis. Thank you, Bree Golden, my love, my definition, for being such an amazing cartographer. And thank you to Sam Hediger, the editor, for 200 fucking episodes or something of hard work.
He edited the shit out of this season.
For very little pay.
I think he and Law have to get married next year or next season.
Right.
Yeah.
We do need to get all of everyone in the family so they can't leave.
There you go. Thank you again. I hope that this has lived up to your expectations, and I hope that season 3 will bring you every bit, if not more, joy. And until then, I wish you luck.
And I'm back. My microphone crapped out. So it's like, oh, if I pop back on, nobody can hear me, and I had to fix it. Also, I'm not all the way caught up on chat, but yeah, what do you want to talk about? What an ending. I definitely caught more of it this time on the second listen through compared to, like, I didn't listen to the episode, but compared to playing in it. Because in that final epilogue, I didn't catch the description of Hal because I kind of missed the tattoo thing. And then it wasn't until we got to, you know, the Huntress and, like, the other pennies. Like, I recognized the pennies because the eye colors are very deliberate, and I'm so used to referencing the different versions of her by eye color. And it's just like this time I feel like I finally got like the whole scene. And it's very good. I like it. At the time I didn't dislike it, but it was definitely like, it's not what I envisioned for Nellie, and my head was very much in Nellie because that's who I was playing, but stepping back, like, it's the perfect ending for all of them. All of the pennies and all of the fallow crown, but I mean for like all the pennies, and I'm just like so happy that like Pentecost and Penny in their own way kind of got to return in that vision. And especially like I didn't catch Hal at all when we were actually playing, and so like Hal and Pentecost, like, that makes me happy. She tried so hard for so long to get laid and then just died, and so it's what she would have wanted. Yeah, actually after that, Zach did read for us the other possible like endings that he had prepared, and some of them are fucking harrowing. Like, we like he said, we got the good ending. Some of them were like not just bad, but harrowing. So it's a good thing I'm not allowed to make decisions. Yeah, there's definitely a ton of foreshadowing like throughout the entire season, which now that it's wrapped, it's just so cool that it's kind of just gonna sit as this complete saga with all of this stuff kind of woven throughout it, because it's very lore and foreshadowing dense. Like, even as far as these shows go, like, I don't think most shows approach like the density of that in the LUQ. Well, good night, everyone who has to go. It is very late. Gaspar's new body had... Was it blonde? I pictured his hair as white, because it was supposed to be like paper. But also, I'm not, you know, I'm not a trustworthy narrator, because I have difficulty paying attention sometimes to like long descriptions. Yeah, Gaspar was definitely the prank boy. Yeah, I imagine most questions will really be Zach questions, so y'all should definitely take that to the Discord. I can't answer them, but yeah, it was wild. I didn't expect the episode to be that long, because it didn't feel that long when we were doing it, because we kind of had those. You're right. Like, I like the kind of reference to slice of life style scenes in the forest where we just kind of. It was our last chance to just really talk about things before heading into the ending. And so, and it was really just like that in the end. So I felt like it was an hour, and then it was like an hour 40. Yeah, Max, I've said this before, but it's very interesting how he took this character that was, like, intended to be a fairly short-term character and wasn't meant to stay on the show. He was just going to have his little guest run. And then, just ended up not only staying, but becoming, like, so intrinsic to everything. And I don't think any of us could imagine it now without him. And I'm not sure, but I thought I caught a question earlier about someone asking the title for season 3, which has been announced, and it's the League of Ultimate Questing Shattered World. And y'all know a little bit about it, but the characters haven't been shared yet. I'm looking forward to when they are, but not my place to spoil. The next thing on the horizon, I believe, is Dungeon City, which we did record, and I think you're gonna like it. And yeah. Five is a very good party number, and well, it's like, yeah, Max, like, it's weird because, like, on paper, I was not prepared to like Wuxia because just like his description and everything, I'm like, okay, he's this, you know, kind of water Goliath, and he does this thing, and he's kind of, you know, kind of this off-putting character. But then you put Max behind it, and he's only, you know, only off-putting in these descriptions, and then he's just so affable, because Max is a very likable, very boisterous person, and he quickly became a fan favorite, and also just yeah, it was kind of coincidental because, like, you know, it's all improv, this thing we do. And when I switched to Pentecost from Penny, I wasn't quite prepared for the rest of the cast's, like, in-character reactions, because I hadn't thought about it very much in that way, and I was surprised by that, especially Iavos being very kind of, like, cold and sad. But, like, Wuxia was always, like, very, like, bright and cheerful to Pentecost, and so their friendship turned out to be just, like, a very cool, enduring thing that just kind of popped up because of that. And this is just me reflecting on the season. Feel free to hit me with anything. How was session 0? Do you mean for season 3? How was session 0? Oh, what poster is behind me? Let me see if I can put it on there. So that was a poster for an event for the release of Uncaged, back when Uncaged Volume 1 was new. And it was this Orcs event, which was the D&D pop-up that all of us used to run at, and it's on hiatus now, and it has been so since the pandemic. But so it's just this one of the event posters for this event where we were running Adventures from the Uncaged anthology, and then as a guest was I don't know if you can read it, but Christina Sisto Kindle, who's a local author that contributed to that anthology, and I like it a lot, so it's on my wall. And now I'm going to recenter myself. Aw, that's very sweet. Yeah, so session 0 for season 3 actually happened in, like, April. In April, we did session 0. I remember it was right before my trip. And yeah, we all went over there, like, everyone who was auditioning. And Zach and Law did, like, a PowerPoint presentation on the setting for season 3, and then we all just started kicking around character concepts and stuff, and it was a lot of fun. And that's when I came up with my character, because it's funny, because I never want to rely just on coming up with something on the spot, so I came up with, like, 3 ideas that I was excited about, and that's what I did last time. And Penny was my second choice. Well, the character that became Penny was my second choice. Like the idea of this like Fae Satyr character was my second choice. But anyway, for season 3, I went in with these 3 concepts, and I didn't use any of them because as soon as they described the world, I just started thinking out loud. I actually just started talking off the top of my head, and I'm like, well, what if I did something like this? And then as soon as it left my mouth, I was so in love with it that I'm like, I have to do that. Oh, don't talk about choosing the team name. Oh my Christ. Like, we went over to record, and I think from now on, any session where we pick a team name is going to have to be outside of the recording schedule. Because we went to record, and it took us like 6 hours to settle on a gosh darn team name. And no, Zach helped out, but he didn't have a say in it. What we really did is we kind of identified the thematic through lines that touched all the members of the team, and we had a few. Everyone had a sense of like family or lineage or something like that. There were a lot of ties to like nature in various ways, and some other things, and there were a lot of things tossed around that were similar. Like one of them, I think, was it Verdant Wheel or something like that? Transparently, I pushed for Twilight Revel, which I thought was very fun, but also it kind of favored my character more than the others. In fact, a lot of the ones, if you listen to the ones we kick around on the show in character, all of those were actual things that were suggested. It's just kind of a shortened version of that conversation. Because in truth, it lasted for 6 hours, and eventually we decided on Fallow Crown to represent the crown for like the legacy or family, and Fallow to represent kind of the nature aspect of it. Lucid Wheel, thank you, Law. Yeah, I liked that one too. Yeah, it's just hard. And then also, part of the same thing is team colors. And the funny thing about team colors, and I have to admit this now, I pushed pretty hard for some of the team colors. They're very much colors that I favor, if you can't tell by my hair. But I'm like, okay, this dark teal and this bronze. And that was kind of the first time in the last 2 years that I really picked out that color scheme, and then I just kept picking it out. And now if you go to TPK, the entire building is kind of Fallow Crown colored. Because it's just one of my favorite colors right now. So definitely think of that when you go. Almost all the fixtures are copper or bronze, and it has a very prominent dark teal color to most of the walls. That said, Zach did have he had input, he had opinions, but it wasn't his call. Yeah, and I mean the only real thing about it was because there were only 2 seasons, right? I think it'll be a little easier going forward, but with only 2 seasons, much like when we picked our names, they couldn't be similar to season 1. For when we picked the colors and things, we just had to make sure it was different than season 1. But there's only so many colors. Yeah, a lot of those kinds of interactions do actually kind of imitate how they happened out of character. Like we didn't have to decide a lot of things off mic, but some of things like that, you know it's going to take longer. But yeah, no, that was that definitely was why that scene was like that. And I think I just kept saying like anything but black, and so black made it in there. Like I really wanted to do like the dark teal, green, and like the dark teal and the bronze, but then like the highlight color I wanted to be sky blue, but it ended up being black, which is fine. I cannot pick all the things. That said, you know, I'm not going to talk about TPK too much, but if you look around it, I picked out most of the finishes, I feel like. Just because a lot of it is intentionally meant to tie into the campaign setting of our fantasy world. And so I just, as the creative director, ended up picking out a lot of the finishes. And yeah, if you take a look around, it looks like stuff that I like, which makes me happy, but I feel a little guilty sometimes. Oh yeah, no, I pick other people's favorite moments like a fucking sniper. Like you can't pick just one Favy Momo. Thank you. And it's still coming along. There's actually a lot more decorations still to install because the upstairs especially is going to have just a ton of that almost Wizarding World kind of like set quality because we have a set designer working on it and he's amazing. But you can just expect like more and more of that. And thank you so much. Spot on, zombie. Spot on. Like, yeah. Like, occasionally I feel like I should let other people make bad choices. That said, I'm amazed that the flooring and stuff actually looks okay because, like, we picked everything out as, like, these little tiny swatches. And then one day it's just all there. And we're like, thank God it kind of went together. Pleasantly surprised. But I'm not here to talk about the business. It is the finale. And I will talk about that another time. That said, I do think this is probably the last time I'm going to stream for a while. Because we open on the 28th, and I don't actually have Mondays off. I actually did work today. I just didn't need to be in the space today, so I worked from home. But yeah, I wanted to make sure I streamed all of the episodes up through the finale, but now I'm probably gonna have to take a break. But thank you all for joining me every week. Downtime episodes are always my favorite. Like, all of them are my favorite. Just because we get to do those, like, kind of longer, deeper character scenes, and that's my favorite content on the show. So, like, they're always my favorite. Of course. Of course. You're all very welcome. I enjoy doing this. Moment from Season 2 that will stick with me. I mean, all of it, but there's so many good moments. So many good, like, relationships with different versions of this character. Also, I didn't list it in the end there, but, like, getting to play Penny Dreadful was a lot of fun. Oh, I love you too. And I appreciate you too. Dungeon City, I think, is going to come out next week. Because, like, hashtag every fucking Monday. Like, there's content coming. Completely candidly, we're recording the first chapter of season 3 tomorrow. Because tomorrow's our day off. Oh, RCCC. Okay. Good call, Law. So in a couple weeks, you'll see Dungeon City. Cool. Cool. Gosh, if I could have only played one version of Penny. Like me now, I'm not sure. I can't really imagine it happening any other way, but like I think if things had happened differently, I think I could have played Penny Farthing through the entire show. Like she still had a lot left, like for her to do. She had a lot of unresolved stuff, and that's part of what made that switch like really kind of tragic and emotional at the time, is she still had a lot left. And like, yeah, Pentecost definitely had a lot of unresolved stuff, but it was different. I think it probably would have been Penny Farthing like the whole way through. As much as I love Nellie, Nellie is possibly my favorite version excuse me, of her, possibly. But it's, I don't know. Penny, at the same time, Penny is a more enduring character, I think, because she was really meant to be the, like, kind of fish out of water. She was discovering things, whereas once I did Nellie, like, she's, you know, she knows things. Nellie doesn't have that same quality. Like, she's supposed to be a little more mature and a little more informed, I mean, to contrast the two, Nellie is a child who's trying to act like an adult, and Penny Farthing is very much an adult who does not have the emotional maturity to not act like a child. And it is much more fun for the story to just indulge in very childish behavior. Yeah, Law has been a trooper. It's been a lot. Like candidly, for the last like week, like for the last week, let's just say, all of us at TPK, including Law, have been working like 12 to 15 hours every day. Just getting everything ready for open, and it's like, it's not just open, but like we actually started, Law and I, we started running games in the space. Like we had the big launch event on Saturday, which was like 12 it was a 14-hour event with 12 almost continuous hours of gaming, and then Law and I like went home, got 4 hours of sleep, and popped right back over to start running our actual games on Sunday. Like we started the Layfarer's Chronicle, which honestly we both just kind of stayed up till 1 o'clock on Friday just polishing it, because like the bones were there, but Law helped me a ton just fill things out, because I was kind of I was burning out a little bit writing descriptions of all the places, and then Law just went and made stat blocks for all the creatures that I had written down, and then he took my just list of names of magic items that I intended to put in it, and he's like, can I take a shot at this, and just made me like 30 magic items. And it's actually great, because even where they are like different than I planned to do them, then I can just make that a different item and we have twice as many items. But yeah, Law helped me a lot, and then the games yesterday went fucking great. If anything, we were way too tired when we wrote it, and the adventure goes way too hard because it's like one session in, and like people are getting emotional and being traumatized by this fucking adventure, but like in the way where they immediately want more. Like I had a comment in the first game of the day afterwards where someone said, oh, I wish I got the lifetime subscription, which isn't available anymore, but that's probably the biggest compliment I've ever gotten, if after one session someone says that. Yeah, Piper, Penny Piper was Penny Dreadful before she was corrupted, and she didn't call herself Penny Dreadful until that was kind of coined during this season. Yeah, like when she was like growing up or whatever, before she was corrupted, she was Penny Piper, and she was like, she was another bardic Penny. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. If you want to consider like make it like an Anakin Skywalker Darth Vader thing, you could consider them different, but but you also didn't list Paraphthra, so you could also consider Penny Piper Paraphthra, because the concept of her was Penny Piper uncorrupted, Anakin Skywalker unseduced. I hadn't thought about that till today, but anyway, all that's to say, Law is an amazing person, and he is life-saving. And also, we are all very tired. But he's the champ because he's still writing stuff. Well, I am fading. I think I am going to say goodbye to all of you. But thank you all so much for coming and watching the finale with all of us. Like, looking back, like this show is just a huge endeavor, and everyone did such a wonderful job. The entire cast, the showrunners, obviously couldn't do it without Sam and Bree. Sorry, I heard my own words as Salmon Brie, and then my whole brain just rebooted, and I forgot where I was. But it's funny. You would think that, but it's really just like Law watching me struggle to write in real time and asking if he can do anything, and then just doing it anyway after I say no. That's kind of what our relationship has been. But we've also been learning how to work as a duo, which we never really did before. So it's been exciting. But anyhow, all my kudos to Zachary Barkus, now Zachary Golden, for completing this monument of a season. I said this, when we actually recorded, I meant to bring him a bouquet of flowers, and I didn't, and I still feel kind of bad about that because I forgot. But just what an achievement, right? And then now it exists, and you can look back on it, and that's just very cool. So thank you, and thank you all of our listeners. Shattered World is going to be bomb as hell. And with that, have a fantastic rest of your week. And until next time, and for the last time